I have a flashback here from May 21st, 2004 from the LA Times. Bush administration's fake news reports on Medicare are illegal. Mock news reports produced and distributed to local television stations by the Bush administration to promote the Medicare prescription drug program violated a provision of federal law that prohibits the use of taxpayer funds for covert propaganda. And that's exactly all the government wants to release is propaganda.
Yeah, Fox fired some news reporters for challenging their TV license. Steve Wilson and Jane Ackray charged Fox with false and distorted news reports. This came out of Tampa. Steve Wilson wrote this, and they're charging Fox with false and distorted news reports. This came out January 3rd, 2005. It was on in Tampa on WTVT Fox 13, and that's a unit of Rupert Murdoch's Fox television empire. This guy owns over 300 cable channels, satellite, everything. No broadcaster should be allowed to put his financial interests ahead of the public interest. And I know we're running along in this segment. I'm going to we'll be back with another member in segment 2 of a member of People for a Better Future. Go to our website at harrythomas.nzfreeservers.com. Sign up for our newsletter by sending us an email to harrybna@netzero.com. I'd like to play this short clip, a couple minutes, of a movie called Outfoxed. And that's a movie about the Fox TV network.
Just as healthcare and the economy and the environment are political issues that people are familiar with, corporate control over the media is also a major political issue.
When you have one network that is so powerful and so intent upon warping the dialogue, it limits that discourse. It actually influences it to be a narrower discourse. And that's what I think citizens ought to be up in arms about. We can't accept this anymore. If we do accept it, we are handing on to our children and our grandchildren a lesser democracy than we inherited. And that's the one thing we don't have a right to do.
It's ironic that it's been, 30 years since Patty Chayefsky wrote Network. But I really believe that those prophetic words that were spoken by Peter Finch when he finally got out of the chair and said, "It's time. Go to the window, shake your fist, and say, 'I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore.'" I think those are resonant words. I think people are genuinely upset.
Get off your rear end and become an activist. And if you see things that are biased, complain so that out there and say you won't be watching it anymore.
Content has to change. Power has to shift. And I think the only way we can shift power is the only way we've ever been able to shift power, by directly confronting those who hold it and taking it back.
Policies have been made behind closed doors by very powerful special interests without any public involvement or participation. And what we've learned in the last few years is when the public gets aware of this and they start organizing, we can change these policies and we can make a system that actually responds to the needs of the people of this country.
America's digital destiny is hanging in the balance now. With the right activism, public outcry, we can shape a media environment so that in every community there are channels that actually serve the public interest.
If you are a citizen at home right now, when you turn on talk radio, all you hear is one right-wing nut or another right-wing nut. Why don't you go to the radio station and say, "I'm sick and tired of this. There are progressive voices out there. We want a balance."
If a Fox TV station in your town is broadcasting reports that you know to be inaccurate, that you know to be warping the news, you as citizens have power. Groups like Code Pink and others have actually demonstrated outside television stations and have made noise about it. You need to basically play the Paul Revere role to kind of ride out into the night, alerting people that there's something bad going on here and something needs to be done about it.
Here's what I'd love to have happen. Family from Nebraska goes to Washington for the family vacation. We're going to visit the Air and Space Museum.
We're going to visit the mall, we're going to visit the Vietnam Memorial, and we're going to visit the FCC to see a commissioner or two to tell them about what we care about. When that happens, you might start to see a little more attention. But you know, it ain't going to happen if you don't try.
We can actually win here. The whole strength of the system has been based on people being apathetic and not thinking they could do anything about it. As soon as we rise up, it collapses like a house of cards. That's the extraordinary development of the last 2 years.
It is not an issue of the right or the left. It is a populist issue about people finally saying it's their democracy and they aren't going to let 5 companies control the airways for corporate convenience at the expense of public necessity.
We'll be back with segment 2, folks.